What we're doing is real.
Just on a logistic level. They have a lot of opportunity.
There's 4 different units that all have very unique rehabs that have to be done.
What are you talking about? You're talking about like the drug? Oh, yeah. Welcome to episode 2 of 7-Day Flip with Tyler Jensen. I can't believe it's been a week since we were together on episode 1, but we have a jam-packed, incredible episode for you guys today. We're gonna dive into the deal. So looking at how they found it, what are the numbers, how much renovation does it need? We're gonna talk about some of the challenges that come up. There was a lot of things that happened throughout the week that they had to battle. And then we're gonna have a special surprise for you guys at the end where some people show up that Tyler may or may not have been expecting to show up on site in Salt Lake City. So without further ado, let's get rolling.
Hey guys, I'm Tyler Jensen. This is my beautiful wife, Letitia.
Hello.
Say hi. I was always in real estate even before I knew Letitia. So I got into real estate when I was in college, and my dad and I started a company called Pay It Forward Enterprises. So it was all about how we could help people and pay it forward. And we started doing short sales and foreclosures and stuff like that. That was in 2008 when the market was bad. So that's kind of what took us into real estate. So I was still going to school, I had a full-time job. So flipping houses was, a nights and weekends type deal for me. I was working as a business manager, like in accounting. I did a lot of financial stuff, and I just knew that corporate America wasn't my thing. I would only get 3 weeks of vacation every year, and I just didn't love that. I wanted freedom, but I also wanted financial independence. We started our business and started rolling. I wasn't very efficient. I was doing a lot of the work myself, and then I'd hire a contractor. So then we started ramping up a little bit. We did a couple flips at the same time, so we had 3 or 4 flips going. We closed on 2 of those flips, and that was enough for us to live off for 6 months. And so I told my wife that we were gonna do it for 6 months, and that she wouldn't notice a difference. So the office now was gonna be in the basement instead of me driving to the office. I would pay us every 2 weeks, we'd have health insurance, and that was that. So she gave me 6 months. How was that decision for you?
Yeah, well, it's good now, but
It was scary because I was going from a very high income job, and I quit my job, and just with my wife, we just said that this is what we wanted to do, and it was my dream and my passion, and we haven't looked back since.
I'm Jeffrey. I started working with Tyler as a contractor through somebody else. After that, we continued to work progressively together, one project after another, and eventually became project manager of his whole team, running our crews, numerous others, and here we are today.
We have completed 3 7-day flips, and we're doing 4 7-day flips right now, all at the same time. 4 rehabs in 7 days. We're just upping the bar, and it's just been an incredible ride. I don't think it's ever been done, ever. I think we're probably the trailblazers, as you might say, for doing rehabs this fast.
We made this big lofty goal. Tyler was like, oh, let's do a house in 7 days. That would be so cool. And I was like, absolutely not. There's no way. And there's no way that we can do that. And I was completely convinced of that. And at some point I had convinced myself, no, we're going to do it. This is a thing that can be done.
So doing one rehab in 7 days was pretty extensive. I was very heavily involved in that process, and I was trying to convince my project manager, hey, it's possible, we can do this. And since then, we've kind of graduated to this stage that it was his idea to come to me, and he told me he wanted to do it in 7 days. We found these two properties that are right next to each other, which makes logistics really simple to do 4 properties in 7 days.
Just on a logistic level. They had a lot of opportunity. The units are separated. We recently acquired some really good contractors who are coming through for us on a big way. We were able to train them on how to do it. And I mean, that was a huge deciding factor in this. The location was really great. The amount of work that needed to get done, the fact that we were doing it to certain finish levels, you know, like a lot of that just played into it.
All right, so at this point, Tyler and Jeffrey have worked together to do 3 individual 7-day flips. So they flipped 3 houses in 7 days and full-on renovation projects, $35,000, $40,000 renovations in 7 days. So this is the first time that they're ever attempting 4 houses. So they have 2 duplex next to each other. 4 houses in 7 days is their goal here. It's taken a lot of work and a lot of mindset changes and personal growth and development to get them to that point. You can see it and hear it in Tyler's voice and Jeffrey's voice. And it's amazing for me on the outside to watch the growth and watch it happen. So I know you're anxious to jump into the numbers, figure out how they found them and all of that stuff. So let's see where they found these deals.
Oh man, let me tell you about these 7-day flips that we just found. They're awesome. We were looking on the MLS for actually the property that was next door. And we went and met with the homeowner and we couldn't strike up a deal. He wanted more for his house than we were willing to pay. But he said, hey, I have these 2 duplexes right next door. Would you be interested in those? And we said, absolutely, let's go take a look at them. So we negotiated, we went back and forth. They were an off-market property. We found them through the MLS. We ended up not getting the house on the MLS, but we got the 2 duplexes. So we agreed on a price, something that would make sense, and then we looked at kind of all different things, our exit strategy, what our plan was. We wanted to really keep these as long-term assets. So we wanted to rehab them, force the appreciation, refinance them, and then keep them as long-term assets, pull all of our money out, and essentially have an infinite returns on our money and our assets. So that was the first strategy. We can always retail them. We can always put them back onto the market and sell them to a landlord, someone who would want to have tenants and keep that rental income and that cash flow coming. Unit number 1 and number 2 both had meth in it. And so we had to decon it through the county. So doing that in 7 days is really a challenge. We reached out to the county. We got everything in order. We got everything done, ready to go, tested. While this is in escrow, we haven't even bought the house yet. And then coronavirus hit, all of that kind of crazy thing happened. So the county was out. But anyways, we were able to work with the county. We figured out the meth problem. We wanted to keep our guys safe. Units 1 and 2 had meth in them, which it's going to be a problem the rest of the week. As far as the other 2 units, it's going to be really interesting to see what needs to be done. They are trashed as well. So if someone was living in them, they just trashed everything. We have to gut pretty much all the cabinets, all the carpet, all the flooring. Nothing is really savable in any of these units. So they're 4 distinct rehabs that we have to get done. I know that Jeffrey's pretty stressed out right now, which is normal.
I'm in this point right now where I'm really overwhelmed with all of it. There's so much that goes into all of this, and I'm really excited.
That's how it should be. He should be a little bit stressed out, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Once we can just get started, I think that that'll be the key. Once we get moving and the ball starts rolling and we start demo day, that's really where your motivation kind of sinks in because you see a lot of that progress. Super excited. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait.
At this point, I'm just ready to just be all right, let's we're done. We're just gonna start now.
4 rehabs in 7 days, baby.
The scope of work on this is we're just getting these rent grade. So this is not an HGTV show. We're not going to stage these elaborate properties. We're not putting marble tile floors in because you don't need any of that. A lot of that is just made for TV. What we're doing is real. Why are we doing a rental grade? Because these are units. Who's going to buy these properties is a landlord, someone that wants to rent them out, that's turnkey. It's really simple for them. They get a nice product. Their renters are going to love it. So with that being said, there's 4 different units that all have very unique rehabs that have to be done in those units.
Am I worried about the project like going off? You know, like, no, it's gonna happen. We've picked the team that has the tools, they've got the capability, we've shown it before. Now we're putting them into a new environment and slightly tweaking it a little bit. I'm pretty sure we've got it figured out. At this point, we've got everything is much in line, right? You know, will it go off absolutely perfectly? No, it's not going to. But nothing ever does because we're constantly moving that needle to the next harder thing. It's never going to go off perfectly if we always do a new thing, right? And that's slightly part of the point here, right? We're learning something new every single time, a little bit more, a little bit better.
6 months ago, I was trying to sell him the idea that we could do a property in 7 days. And then he's coming to me trying to sell the idea that we could do 4 rehabs in 7 days. So to me, that was a huge game changer, that I felt like my team was taking ownership and that they wanted to keep achieving and raising the bar and just growing as a business. So they finally caught the vision of what I was trying to do and what I was trying to achieve. So I've been very little involved in this 7-day flip.
So 4 houses in 7 days, they've got them set up, they're ready to go, but I wanted to dive in a little deeper on some of those things. Tyler talked about meth. He talked about coronavirus. He talked about some other problems and issues. He didn't dig in deep into the numbers. So I'm gonna get on a call with him and we're gonna go through the numbers right now. Let's talk a little bit about like what you guys bought it for, how much you put into it, what they're worth right now. So what were some of those numbers?
So when we found these properties, he wanted to sell them both at the same time. So we made him an offer for both of them as a package deal. And that was $360,000. So our ARV on that was 540 combined. Again, it's a package deal. That's how we analyze these duplexes. So we bought it for 360. We're going to put about 50 grand into it as our budget. And so we want to just make sure that we can hit that 50 grand. It's about 25K roughly for each unit. And then it'll be worth $540,000 when we're finished. So we don't know, it's rental grade property. So we don't need to spend a ton of money. It doesn't need to have elaborate flooring and it doesn't need to have 3-tone paint colors and all of that. Our biggest priorities are the utilities. We want to make sure that it's functional and livable and that it's safe. And then also that it looks good so we can rent it out and sell it retail, or we can keep it for ourselves and keep it as a rental unit.
Okay, so $360,000 purchase, $50,000 renovation is $410,000 with an ARV of $540,000. So you're going to have like $130,000 of equity in these 2 properties. Is that right?
Yeah, roughly, depending on a few variables, right? But that's the plan.
And you'll be cash flowing these if you guys do decide to rent them out. So you've got a couple different exit strategies, right? One is your primary plan is to rent them out. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then what's the backup plan?
The backup plan is we can always retail them. So they're in a good place. They're 2 different parcels. So we could even split them up if we needed to. And we could sell one off and keep the other. Or there's just a lot of different options that we have, which is really good to have multiple, exit strategies.
Okay, I got a question for you that probably a lot of people are asking in their mind. How did you finance these properties? Did you use your own cash, somebody else's cash, a loan? What did that look like?
So how we finance these, we have a lender that financed both of them. So he gave us enough money to fund both of them. And then we had a second that funded all of the rehab. So that was the plan, is to have someone fund both of these and make sure that we didn't have to put any money into it. So I'm $0 in it right now.
That's awesome. So $130,000 of equity, none of your own money into it, and then you could cash flow it as you rent it out. So after you rent it out, if that's the strategy that you guys go with, what do? Do you keep the lender in there? Do you refinance the lender out with a bank? What's the plan there?
Yeah, the plan is to refinance them out. It just depends on long-term financing and what we can get, as far as a good rate, but we would definitely refinance it out. And if it made sense, we could do a cash out refi as well. So we could actually pull out some of our profit and cash out that way. If we just wanted to refinance out the private money lender, then we could do that as well and keep the equity in the property.
That's incredible. So for those of you guys that are watching that aren't used to this, you could buy, renovate, rent out, buy, renovate, rent, and then refinance the money out. And so what you see with this is that money that actually comes out of the property too. If he takes his equity out of the property, that's money that comes into Tyler's bank account that does not get taxed. So it is an incredible strategy that you can use that you won't see tax on that money until after you sell. So an unbelievable way to do it. And there's some seasoning requirements and lots of different things that could potentially come up, but $130,000 of equity to be able to pull that out and only have, I don't know, anywhere from 4 to 5% interest rate potentially on a rental property. I've seen as low right now when we're shooting this of 3.5. It's just amazing. So that kind of takes me a little bit into the lending environment, takes me to the coronavirus, right? So you talked about all the stuff that's going on. So we were, as you guys found these properties, was that even happening? Was that a thing when you were negotiating this? So when did that come up?
Yeah, it was the very 1st of March. So coronavirus was still new. It was happening in China. A lot of that stuff, it really hadn't come to the States full effect yet. And then right as we started to prepare for this, coronavirus was in full effect. So everything was in lockdown. All the airlines were shut down. So it was kind of crazy. And it was just a weird time that it just happened so fast. And then of course, we just talked about long-term financing, that all of that kind of froze up right in the middle of this process, that all of that long-term financing went away. Lenders got scared. I know that we had a couple lenders that you and I both work with that kind of just froze everything and said, whoa, we're not lending anymore. We need to be a lot more cautious on what's happening. So that was definitely a game changer that we had to work through as far as the financing side. But as far as the other side, we were worried that we weren't going to be able to get 20 guys on site because we were all on lockdown. So that was a challenge too. We had to be really cautious about that, on how many people we could have and how we could keep our guys safe. And it was all still new. So we didn't really know what was happening with coronavirus. So it was all just this really learning curve, and the fear was starting to build, and it was just the unknown when we started it.
So it's probably really good that you had a private lender lined up, because all the financing was drying up, stuff like that. They could have stopped your loan going through. So you had a private lender lined up that was ready to finance the purchase and somebody else to finance the rehab. So really powerful stuff. You absolutely should be using private money in conjunction with hard money if needed, and figure out what are your backup plans. So this was a wake up call, the coronavirus, right? So you also talked about meth. So you mentioned it a little bit. We like show a little bit of it in the episode, but it's like, what are you talking about? You're talking about like the drug meth, amphetamine?
If you've ever seen Breaking Bad, you know what I'm talking about. So someone had cooked, instead of using an RV, they had cooked the meth in one of these units. And so we knew that coming in. It was part of the seller's disclosures that they disclosed to us that there was meth. It was contaminated. It was hard to miss because it had a big pink sign on the door that said contaminated, do not enter. And so we knew that going into it, that we were going to have to deal with meth. So before we even bought the property, we reached out to the county. We started getting permits in order. They were shut down. So it was really hard for them to get a response. And we had to have someone come out there and test the levels. And so we have a really good friend of ours that does a lot of that meth remediation. And so he came out and we told him what we're trying to do. Hey, we want to try and flip this house in 7 days. But we can't do that with meth. I don't want my guys to go in there. What do we need to do to get this done? So we worked out a plan, and he said that he would come in on day 1 of our 7-day flip. He even came in the night before and just made sure everything was good. They came in and they deconned the whole thing in a couple of hours for us, and we just stayed out of that unit. And then, so then it was safe enough that my guys could go in, but we still didn't have sign off on the county. So we had to wait for them, and we had to call them. We called them like every hour just to get them out there so we could do it safely. So meth is bad, man, but we totally did it. And we just planned. Again, it's all about planning and preparation. We knew it was there. And we had guys that came and helped us out, and we couldn't have done it without them. So it was a really cool process, but it was super challenging because of coronavirus, and no one wanted to come in the house. The county wouldn't respond. So it was just a lot of work to try and get that remediated.
Is meth common in your area, that when you buy houses like this, that you're used to having a meth house or people are cooking meth in the house?
Yeah, we did a house once that the FBI had actually raided. So they had smashed in windows and they had a full-on meth lab. Yeah, that's fairly common in our market. Just because we're lower income, we're kind of in not really the ghetto, but kind of the ghetto. And so that happens a lot. And we have to deal with that. I don't know how you would describe that. Probably 1 in 10 houses have meth in it.
Okay, so up to this point, you had done 3 7-day flips, and now you had these 2 duplexes next to each other. You had under contract for $360,000. You knew you were going to put $50,000 into them, and you're going to have a ton of equity. Primarily, you're going to rent them out. So you announced this to our mastermind group to say, hey guys, does anybody want to come and follow us along during this? Because you presented at Flip Hacking Live. You showed people how you guys did the 7-day flips that you've done. And now you've got this new project, right? This Roger Bannister type moment where I talked about how you're breaking the 4-minute mile. Now you're going to figure out how to break the 3-minute mile, right? So you had kind of announced that. Why did you do that? And how did you do it? So what was going on in your mind then?
It's all about giving back in this group. And part of the mastermind is that I took for so long, which I know you can relate to that, Bill, that we just kind of took everything that we could to help build our businesses. And then we finally reach a level that you feel confident in what you're doing and that you're really good at it. And so I wanted to reach out and I wanted to help other people because I understand the value of flipping these houses a lot faster than 6 or 7 or 8 months or whatever it is. So I just wanted to show people how we were really efficient and our planning process, what it really takes to do this. Even if we could condense someone into doing it in 14 days or 30 days compared to 60 days, then that would save them a ton of money. And it made me feel gratified. So I wanted to reach out to the group. And so that's what I did. I posted it in both of our groups and we had a whole bunch of interest. A lot of people wanted to come. And we probably had 10 people who had told me, yeah, we're coming. We want to be there. I'm going to bring my project manager. And then coronavirus hit. And so not all 10 of them could come, but it was still exciting to be able to invite those people and have them come out and see our process and to give back and to help them grow their business to hopefully that they would do a 7-day flip as well.
I hope you guys enjoyed jumping into the numbers as much as I did. That's the part of the business that I absolutely love. Creating equity out of thin air. Real estate is so powerful because you can take a distressed asset, you can add value by renovating it, and then he's produced over 6 figures in equity in this property for his business, himself, his family, and they're gonna put some tenants in there potentially and rent it out, and this is gonna produce monthly income for them over and over and over again. Absolutely amazing. So we had some people reach out to us and say, Tyler's flipping 40 houses a year. How do they finance that stuff? So we talked about where did he find the money? What does it look like? And to do 40 houses a year, you really have to ramp up your business. And with that comes funding. We work with a great partner at 7-Figure Flipping called Lending Home. Lending Home has financed a ton of deals for me in Pensacola, Florida for all of our renovation projects. A lot of our members, they give us great financing, great rates, fix and flip loans. They also do rental loans, which a lot of hard money lenders don't do. It's been a great partnership. They have technology that they use online so we can get in and out of a deal really fast. We can input the information without having to talk on the phone and trade a bunch of emails. We can basically just drop it in the portal, find out, what the process is, get updates that way. And we've closed loans with them in 5 days, 7 days. So when you're making a cash offer like Tyler was, you've really got to have your financing in order. And it's a great partner if you're looking for a hard money lender to work with for fix and flip loans or rental loans. They don't just work with people like Tyler who do 40 houses a year. They work with first-time flippers too. So absolutely amazing company. We love working with them. A lot of our members inside of 7-Figure Flipping work with them. So if you're interested in finding out how you can work with Lending Home, just go to the link right here on the screen or in the description, and they got a special offer for you in there. Fill out that application and see what they can do for you. In working with them, we've done probably 20, 30 loans with them over the past couple years, and it's just been absolutely amazing. And I'm able to make an offer, get the deal under contract, and very quickly close, especially when the seller needs to close really fast, where you can't wait for a bank or maybe a private lender who's a little bit slower. So go to the link in the description or the link right here on the screen and find out how Lending Home can partner with you to help you with your financing on your fix and flips or your rental properties that you're looking to purchase. Let's hear from some of the members who accepted the challenge and flew out to Salt Lake City to follow along with Tyler and his team on this project. So Tyler and I just got done talking about all the details of the project, the scope of work, the budget, that kind of stuff, coronavirus, meth, and that he put the kind of call out to our 7-figure flipping members to say, do you guys want to come and watch this? So today I've got a couple of the members that said, yes, I want to come. So I want to find out a little bit more about how they heard about it, why they decided to come, what some of the challenges were.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. So how did you hear about this? Like, how did you hear about Tyler doing this? And when you heard about it, what did you think?
I did not think you could do 4 rehabs in 7 days.
I saw him on the cruise. We went on the 7-figure cruise. And I said, hey, when's your next 7-day flip? And he said, it's going to be in March. I said, all right, I'm on my way. I'll be there.
Through the mastermind group, I'd heard that he was going to do this. You know, he had like 4 homes or 4 doors that he was going to be rehabbing all at the same time. And I was like, I've got to go and check this out. This doesn't seem like it's even possible.
So the next thing I know, he's calling me. He's like, yeah, we're going to do 4 flips in 7 days. And I'm like, what? And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, is this possible? Like, what in the world are you doing? And he's like, well, it's like, you know, it's 2 duplexes right next to each other. And I'm like, who cares? It's still 4 flips, right?
So we flew out there and took a bunch of amazing information away from it.
Corona broke out, and it was like Tyler kept calling it the, what did he call it? The zombie apocalypse. He's like, hey, are you still coming? It's the zombie apocalypse, but you know, we're still doing it.
Tell me a little bit about like your relationship with Tyler and how you guys met.
Tyler and I, both of our first 7-figure flipping conferences was in Baltimore. And we discovered back in San Diego that we have a lot more in common than we thought. We just became really good friends. And I'm really grateful to be friends with him because he is what you would call a gold bomb friend. He follows through with what he's going to do. He gets a vision and he just goes. And it's amazing to have that example by my side and to have a friend like that.
You said, I'm going to be out there. Like, it doesn't matter when it is. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. That was before the coronavirus hit, the zombie apocalypse, all the stuff that you just talked about. So what challenges did you have did you ever question not going? What kind of was coming up? And what were some of the things that could have stopped you from showing up?
There were a lot of things that were happening that were, you know, stumbling blocks in the way of keeping us from going out there. Even to the very day of me going. I mean, I was having my doubts. I'm like, should I go? You know, because the media was just really pumping it up. But then when we sat down and we had a little family council and we had a prayer, everybody felt at peace.
I was really anxious to get one of our project managers out there. We originally were going to have both of them come out, but one of them got sick, couldn't make it. And then you kind of had the whole COVID thing that was just starting to come out. So we were like, should we do this? Should we not do this? We're kind of on the verge, but we ultimately decided this is something that I think would be a huge benefit to our company. I mean, even if we could just shave a month off some of our rehabs, this would save us a ton of money and interest costs and carrying costs in the long terms.
What was going on in your business? Were you able to unplug from your business, or were you concerned about that at all, leaving for a week to go see this?
No, I wasn't really worried about it. I knew that the trip would pay dividends in the long run.
It kind of, you know, uprooted the business in a way. And I told my project manager, I said, this is going to be huge for our company. And so it didn't really matter what we were doing, like uprooting it a little bit. You know, the 2 weeks that we were out there, it didn't matter. It really didn't, because in the back of our minds, we had already told ourselves, this is going to help our business. This is going to be huge for us. And so we went.
So we're trying to get more efficient with our rehabs. We're trying to get costs down. We're trying to streamline it where our project managers aren't trying to do as much managing. We're trying to get our interest payments down. You know, as a flipper, one of your biggest costs is going to be your interest payments that you pay to your investors on these flips, and the amount of money you have to raise for these projects. So that if you can do 10 rehabs a year with the same amount of money that you did 5, because you're turning and burning these things faster, then that allows you to use the same amount of money and do less. You don't have to raise as much private money. It also reduces your carrying costs. And if you're doing something more efficiently, then your risk goes down, because you're in and out of these houses faster. Where if the market changes and you get caught with a bunch of properties, then that can affect your profit line. But if you're able to turn and burn these things really fast, then the market can't catch you. You can get it in and out before that happens.
Awesome. What were you hoping that your project manager got from this? What were the expectations for you for him to take away?
My project manager and myself included were struggling with the idea that you could flip a house in 7 days. He did not think it was possible at all, or he was thinking, oh, this is going to be something that's just a shack that's put together and paint and carpet are thrown into it. He didn't think that he was actually going to be doing like a full renovation to the house. So he really struggled with it, and I knew that Tyler had accomplished it in the past, so I knew it was possible, but I needed to see it with my own eyes. Seeing is believing. So really, we flew him out there to get a complete mindset change on what he thought was possible.
I had introduced the idea of doing a 7-day flip about a year ago, and he was like, oh yeah, okay, cool. And like, but I could totally tell he wasn't in it. He didn't believe in it. He was like, yeah, whatever. And so when we went out to Utah, the mindset and I saw it happen, I saw the change. Like, he got so excited. Every day he was more excited to get home and do a 7-day flip.
It was a huge inspiration, honestly, just being able to go out there and witness something like this, to get the systems and process that they're doing. Again, seeing is believing on all this stuff. And it was a total game changer. The way we run our rehabs is completely different than before that trip. Stay tuned.
On this episode, we talked a ton about mindset. We saw the difference and changes in Jeffrey and Tyler as things changed and evolved. The entire team, the entire staff, our members talked about how their mindset was going to change. And that's really important in this business. It really is all about mindset. So what I put together for you guys is I created a video about mindset. And I know for me, in the last 5 years, mine has changed a ton. And a lot of it has been from working with other people and them showing me what I need to do and just developing over time and developing myself personally and professionally. So what I did was I put together all the things that I've learned over the last 5 years. I slammed them into a short video that you can get right now at the link right here on the screen or down in the description. So for free, no strings attached, download the mindset video. And I know that it's going to help you. If you're regardless of where you are, if you're just getting started or if you're growing your business, this video will help you get in the right frame of mind to be able to develop yourself and grow personally and professionally. So click the link here or click the link down in the description and grab this mindset video before it's gone. About a month before all of this went down, Tyler called me and told me that he was flipping 4 houses in 7 days. That was his plan. And I was the same way. I was like Letitia and I was like Jeffrey. I was like, no way, you're not doing that. And as we started talking about it, he said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if you brought your videographer, Andre, out and videotaped the whole thing? And I said, yeah, that would be incredible. So we started coming up with a plan of how. We started trying to figure out how that would work, what we would do, the structure. I was talking to Andre, we were working on timing. And then I looked at our calendar and all the different things that we had going on. And I was like, there's no chance that this is happening. We had Flip Hacking Live planning starting. We had a mastermind meeting coming up. I was hiring some people, training, onboarding staff. We were growing the company, we were developing some new things, and we just thought it was overwhelming. And I remember sitting down with Andre and just said, I don't think it's right. So I called Tyler after a couple weeks and said, hey man, I don't think we can come out and do this. It's just gonna overextend the team and the staff. And he said, okay, no problem. And so we started working on some ideas of how maybe he could have somebody follow him around and shadow him around locally. And so we looked into some of those ideas and concepts. And then I found out that Brandon and Dana were going too. And he called me up and he said, hey, is it okay if I invite some members? I said, yeah, absolutely. Invited them out. I find this out. And now I said, oh, we're really missing out here. So the coronavirus hit, all the things that we've been talking about, it was all pointing to don't go, it's not gonna happen. And about a week before, I was having a meeting right here in our office with Andre, my videographer. Tyler texted me while we were there. He was saying, man, this is gonna be so awesome. He's making me jealous. And I looked at Andre and said, what do you think? Can you go? And he said his daughter's school was closed, was home with his wife. His mom is here from out of the country who doesn't drive and doesn't speak English. And for a week, he's gonna have to be gone. And he just looked at me and said, I think we need to go. And I said, okay, let's do it. All of this is coming together. All of this is possible because of that decision, that one decision of us sitting in the office saying, we gotta go. This is incredible, it's gonna be amazing. And what has been produced so far and what you guys are in store for over the next few weeks, absolutely amazing. And I can just imagine what this training process would have been like, what you guys would have been seeing had Andre not said, I can go. This is incredible what we're seeing here. So I look forward to the next coming episodes. So with less than a week, we made the decision. Andre got on a plane and got there just in time to meet with Tyler to get things rolling.
Oh, yeah. Personal responsibility.
You just got to motivate the crew. That's the most important part of this process. 7-day flipping, it's our jam. So we're gonna go hard today. Best day ever! Woo! Confidence, I love it.
I was hoping to get a little bit farther on this one.
We're having dinner, I'm cooking steaks on our Traeger.
It's gonna be exciting. We'll see.